Right, gentlemen, as the group has decided, the topic is Russia-Ukraine conflict has adversely affected the world economy and has honestly brought back old Cold War era. What, in your opinion, are main reasons for this escalation? West propaganda, aggressive Russia, and our third is weapon manufacturers' interest. Right. Stop. Start discussion, please.
So, gentlemen, as we have
Gen-
noticed that America, along with various Western countries, has led to the stationary of troops in the Ukraine. So basically, it led to a effect like the many buildings were destroyed, and it also affected the wheat. So in this way, we can say that various food were and economy is greatly affected by this war.
I
Gentlemen,
think, friends,
first I
the
want to
West
point
is the
out,
only.
gentlemen, first we have to point out that we are going ahead with the first topic, that where it's because of Western propaganda that the war has actually inception has actually started. So as we know that Ukraine and Russia always had a friction among themselves, but the immediate cause was definitely Ukraine's bid to join NATO that forced, as we know, Russia forcing the military operation, which actually eventually ended up being a full-fledged war. And because of
Yes,
that, there has been like far ahead, there have been implications. Like we know, Russia is the third largest exporter and manufacturer of crude oil, and because of
yes, I
Russia
agree with
sanctioning of Russian.
I agree with Akash. He has rightly said that West is behind all this dimensional change in the Ukraine and Russia between, and West has also led supported through monetary assets as Russia as US has sanctioned $130 billion of budgetary to the Ukraine. So this is, I think, clearly said that US is behind all this because it indirectly want to hurt Russia, and through Ukraine it is the best way.
And
I
yes,
would, uh, I would, li- I would like to just add one point that it's not just the US, but when we talk about Western propaganda, it also includes European Union, because it's the cumulative sanctions of European Union as well as US that Russia has stopped exporting oil to both the countries, like both the nations, European Union in collection as well as US as a whole, and that has been the reason for far-reaching um, monetary like inflation which has been going on. Like recently, the IMF head has just said that US and European Union are the main three major power, that is the European Union, the US, and China have recently been going through a recession, and 2024, 23 to 24 seems to be very, very grim financially
Yeah.
for the
Yes,
and yes,
I
nation.
partly
Akash,
agree with
you
you, Akash.
rightly
I
mentioned,
think
and
that many European do not wants to go with Westerns because Germany has very keen interest of energy security with Russia. So I don't think so. All are agree with it, but majority of the Europe and the West is there. I agree with this point, and therefore the securities of the energy security has been in Europe, and they have now diversifying their impact. This is the repercussions which has occurred. But I think that majority part of is to gain power and to weaken the Russia point. And also, if Ukraine joins the NATO, then their capital Moscow is only 45 kilometers away from the NATO's, and they will install the radars and
yes,
petrol
gentlemen,
system, etc.
you correctly mentioned, and also there is a possibility that the other conflict which are existing in the world, like China, Taiwan, it could also get a rise from this because like there are various conflicts remaining. So basically, in this way, it can also deteriorate the condition of the world by inflicting many other things. So it should be immediately monitored by the countries from around the world.
Definitely, as Lakshit said that because if this war keeps on going, it only helps leveraging China's stand against, not only against Taiwan but also India. It kind of like Russia's aggression doesn't only have implication against China capturing Taiwan, but as well as China getting more and more aggressive in our northeastern as well as northern borders.
I think that
So
this is the continuation of cold era wars that we have seen, and this is just the continuation because many countries uh, have the very strategic tie with the Russia, and therefore these are continuously increasing on. As we have seen that Nord Stream pipeline is $10 billion investment by the Russia to increase the dependency on Russian energy sector, and but this is not seen as a good step by the US and West as a NATO, and therefore I think this is can be the reason so to deteriorate the situation and not let the negotiations happen.
And yes, we
uh,
can also say, like India is a major power in the Indo-Pacific region, and today the world is seeing toward India because it can act as a good contributor to their development. So if India position is withstand from like it can be away from Russia, so it will cause a major change in world geopolitics also, because India trade route is with many countries, and if it changes its mindset to which countries it should contact, then definitely there will be a huge world impact.
I would also like to add one point other than the sanction, because US and the European Union are facing such troubles in meeting their energy requirements. So US and Europe has come up with a new kind of sanction that they are going to charge the like the barrel price used to be $112 per barrel, which is way too high for US and European Union to meet their demands. So they kind of added a new slab, which is $60 to $63 per barrel. But Russia has taken some countermeasures, like instead of not instead of supplying barrel for $60 to $63 per barrel, Russia has stopped. Russia instead has stopped exporting oil to
Friend,
European Union as
one
well
point
as US.
I would like to add is that we have seen that the influence of NATO in the Trump era has been very deteriorating. Everyone wants to end the NATO, and we have seen that how rudely the Trump have given a statement on the NATO. But if NATO has to be reunite, one has to go with the war, and this is the best situation to create a havoc in the European Union and to create more budgetary allowances for NATO, because every country wants to gave up with NATO. No country was sharing its budget and responsibility in NATO. By seeing the Ukraine-Russia war, we have seen how significantly NATO's have again is assessed to the budgets and its securities. This is, I think, that again shows that the interest of NATO through Russia-Ukraine war.
Yes, you correctly mentioned, and also our main focus should be on stopping this war, because it could lead to a huge high level of inflation as it is present in world also, and our foreign reserves, which were around $650 million, are also depleting because of the currency problem. So it is not only India which is facing the currency problem, and many countries in the world are facing this. So there should be some Uh, mid standing between the countries so that they can resolve this issue.
I think the topic, the three lead was the West and was the interest of weapon manufacturers, and one third lead was there. I think our group is going against the leads.
We have to stick to the first lead, that is it is a propaganda of Western uh, it's a Western propaganda which has aggravated the war. And definitely it all comes down to if Western power are ready to compromise and bring down the sanctions, because if the sanction games keeps going on, there is no end to the war in the near future. So it all comes down to how much cooperation there is between the Western powers as well as between Russia.
Yes,
It's
very rightly
basically
said.
direct.
We have seen that how the West has financed. Even they have provided free weapons which are worth of billions and dollars. How they have given the
Exactly.
Patriot, how they have assisted by supplying like thousands of assault rifles free of cost, giving anti-radars and Milan systems to attack on Russian aircraft radars. So if they do not have interest, how would I don't think anybody in the world would invest in heavily in Russia-Ukraine war. Why, if even if India do not have interest, we are not providing assistance. This clearly so, and they are providing. It is the fact that they are have the interest. They want Ukraine as a soldiers to put a weapon on his shoulders and fire from behind.
So
Yeah,
definitely, what
gentlemen.
Satyenra
Yeah.
says, it clearly says that there is no point. It's basically U.S. and European Union providing Ukraine with firepower and manpower is basically leading up to, instead of investing in firepower for Ukraine to assist in the war, they should be collectively bring the resources and energy and focus on bringing a consensus between the two countries rather than putting oil to the fire which is already growing between the two.
Yeah, we have also seen that how they are sharing the intelligence, even the Starlink of Elon Musk, how they are using it. And I don't think that there was a cruise missile of Russia. They have destroyed it without their Western assistance. Even they can touch the huge Moscow warship that they have sink in the Black Sea. All are being shows that they have the huge interest. Even though if they destroyed the dependency of Europe on the Russia energy, then they will be have more closer US and European relations.
And yes,
So I would,
as it was in
yeah, yeah,
2014 that the some part of Ukraine was taken over by Russia. So from then onwards, Russia was made to get out from the G8 group. So it is basically against Russia, which West is standing, and all of them want to serve their interest in the Indo-Pacific as well as other regions.
I would like to quickly bring out a point that India is going to be the most populated country by this year, and India has been bidding for a seat in the United Nations Security Council, and this is, I guess, the perfect scenario where India could step in to mitigate and bring a consensus between the two, between European Union and US and Russia, and which really helps India's cause as well to bid for a seat in the United Nations Security Council too.
What I think that till when the West they are providing assistance to the Ukraine, nothing going to happen because Ukraine has blinded its eyes and just giving.
Okay, gentlemen, stop talking now. What was the topic? Topic was Russia-Ukraine conflict has adversely affected the world economy and has unnecessarily brought back old Cold War era. What, in your opinion, are the main reasons for this escalation? West propaganda, aggressive Russia, and weapon manufacturers' interest. Now, what you people are talking about it, now let's talk where you started energy security, gain power and all. How does it fit into this? Now, let's have Satyenra now. You started first, Satyenra, you talked about energy security, gain power, weaken Russia, install and all for things. Which out of these three it fits into it?
Sir, I think that in interest, all the energy security comes.
You didn't get my point. Out of three lead, where does it fit?
So West interest.
Which is your league you've taken?
The West interest.
West propaganda. West propaganda or
West propaganda.
West propaganda. There's a propaganda. I'm use the word propaganda.
Okay, sir.
So any point you can, why it is West propaganda? Why this war has been fought in West propaganda? Have you given 1 point? Tell me one.
So West propaganda.
Propaganda मतलब क्या होता है? What does propaganda means? Fake news. Fakely, you are trying to blame Russia for all the aggression for the system. Okay. So now the problem is what is, so your point should have been now, well, it is a Western propaganda because purposely they have instigated Russia for this aggression. For a simple reason, there was no need for US and all the European countries to bring all these Ukraine and other countries into the NATO fold. There was no need for it. They were living coexisting on there. Where's the need for it? So they purposely poked into it, and that's why they have said and that they are the regions.
and that's the region which is in turn is going to threaten Russia's security. Hence, Russia has gone into it. So it is these people who are playing behind the scene for that purpose. Best propaganda. Secondly, best propaganda. Yes, again, in the earlier Cold War, they wanted the fight of supremacy. Fight of supremacy. They would like to test the weapon system. They would like to play at this, as you rightly put it, at one place, that they want to fire from the shoulder of the Ukrainians. So they didn't want to come back alone. So they wanted the Cold War area. So as a first, again, they are trying to blame who throughout the world they are probably the Russia and Russia alone who was the aggressor, which may not be the case, which may not be, because they are fighting for the back at the wall. That's how things should have gone. Now, even now, none of you talked about energy security. Where the energy security comes into play? Everyone paying a country, European countries are paying price for it, isn't it? They are in a tremendous problem in this winter season. Whole price, world economy has gone up. There has gone down. It has affected the economy. What are they going to gain? So you have to take a lead and then you will talk to the point. No? What you have talked is irrelevant. Now, secondly, now we came back. Lakshit came back. India position, change the world, stopping the war. Where does it come in? Where all these arguments are fitting into one of these three? Where does India come into play? Did we ever talk about India? We have talked. You have to talk. Take one lead and you give points for it. Lakshit, what was your lead? You took it?
First, West propaganda.
Best propaganda. Then give me points for the West. What is the best propaganda? Propaganda मतलब झूठा अफवाह फैलाना, यही propaganda होता है ना?
Yes, sir.
क्या क्या अफवाह फैलाया बताओ मेरे को?
Sir, first of all, मतलब जो ये एक हमारे वर्ल्ड में अभी हो रहा है
क्या?
जैसे अभी रशिया भी एक सुपर पावर बनने की उस पे है.
Best propaganda means what? Propaganda means you want to, so they don't want Russia to become
rise
power again. In order to mitigate the problem, in order to bring down the Russia around there, is the game which is being played by US and
Western.
all European countries. This is what you should have said. Did you say even once? No,
sir.
Then what is the other point? This is one point. What else?
So framing Russia for human rights violation.
So again, that's second. I'm talking about here. You talk reason for war. We are talking about what is the reason for war. How it is affecting, that's a separate issue. You started a well when you talk to the topic Akash. Again, you went upside down. You talked about what do you think? East Europe यहाँ पर है energy, Indo क्या है? In the Security Council of India. What is this here? You cannot afford to deviate from the main or assigned topic. You're just talking because you have to talk. That's the end of it. All three of you. And this is the first topic. Mind you, you have to pass in at least first three of the four. And where is the topic? If you go down, can you ever be recommended? Tell me. Tell me, all three of you. All three of you are bright. And you have faced the interview. You have been a part of SSP. And you can't afford to go aside like that. I know there is no time, because the time on the topic is decided and you start thinking about that. You have to think fast. Okay, let's go back onto the second topic. Let's see. Experiment on liquor ban has often been failure, as seen from Gujarat and Bihar experiment. What, in your opinion, should be done? A, lift the ban on liquor. B, strictly implement it. And C, close all liquor outlet and liquor industry from the state and the country. Discuss.
Gentlemen, I would like to, we are going to talk about the liquor ban, which it has recently come into news because there has been a lot of deaths in Bihar because of the case of distribution of spurious liquor, which has caused a lot of deaths. And I think to uh, properly implement. Instead of banning is never an option, because we have seen it never really works. Like in Gujarat, there's an unofficial consensus that though liquor has been banned in Gujarat, but overall in India, the maximum consumption of liquor happens in Gujarat. So banning of liquor, I don't think is the right approach. Rather, there should be some certain type of restrictions put on liquor purchase.
Yes. Yes, Akash, you correctly mentioned that there should be the proper implementation of laws rather than banning it. And also, in the recent times, we noticed like the liquor which comes under the state GST only. So it is the state's authority which is controlling the liquor ban, and implementation of laws nowadays. So I think states must play a dominant role in properly implementing the law by establishing some mediating bodies which do surveys regarding these.
I would
I
also
think
like
that
to mention that, yeah,
if we permanently close the industries, then the if, implement of ban can be happen. Otherwise, it's going to be very very difficult, because the neighboring states do not let it happen, as the borders very share borders share with there is no liquor ban. Therefore, implementation of liquid is going to be very very tough. Otherwise, we have to close it all the assets, all the industries that are working.
I would also like to mention one point against banning the industries, because we know that there's a lot of income that comes to the government because of sales of liquor. So if we ban the sales of liquor, we can actually see a considerable amount of money which the government could earn. Rather, if so, there can be one point that if there are higher taxes for liquor purchase, there could be a drastic number of cases where liquor consumption decreases.
Yes,
So I think
like
not
you
a
mentioned.
restriction, but if the prices of liquor increases, I think that
Like
is a good solution.
like you mentioned, by implementing the laws properly, we will be ultimately controlling all those people who are, making the alcohol in unfairly. So it will also reduce death, because alcohol is also prominently used in other countries. Henceforth, it is main that it should be used properly by under proper implementation of laws. So it will also
Exactly,
control the other.
and as
As
Lakshit said,
Akash has
if
rightly
there's a
said
ban
that
in liquor, yeah,
Akash has rightly said, yes, lot of income do generate and economy do uplifted because of the liquor and intoxication. But the point is here is how we can effectively implement the ban, either by banning or third lead was to close the industries. So ban is not going to be happen, because unless many states do not will agree with it, because they do generate lot of money. And if we close the assets and factories, how will they going to manage it? So if the alcohol ban is to be total ban has to be observed, it can be observed through the closing the industries. If we close the source of the these industries of raw material, then this can be happen.
I would like to suggest two main points which could be adopted by, because liquor tax come under the state. So I would like to implement 2 points which the states could adopt. Firstly, restrict the number of amount of liquor that a person can buy, and but due to restriction there could be a decrease in taxes which the state earns. So instead, to suffice for that restriction, state could implement more taxes on liquor, which could eventually cancel out the effect of restriction of liquor per person. So eventually there won't be much of a difference in terms of the taxes collected by the state, but that could drastically reduce the consumption of liquor between people.
And yes, one more solution is that by implementing the laws, ultimately the integration of all the alcohol shops will occur, because the integration will lead to a reduce in the number of illegal people making these alcohols, etc. ultimately it will lead to the proper management of the alcohol, like proper data will be there. So I think it can be one more solution.
Yeah, with
I think
Lakshit, I
that
would, yeah.
banning if we ban the alcohol, two aspects comes to the judiciary. First is that the interference in the personal matter of an individual, because their personal life do affected. Second thing is that Indian government is bound by the DSPs, uh, which state that a proper good life of a human being to be attained. So there is a contradictory between the politics and even the judiciary. So ban would be much will go to in the hands of judiciary, and there no outcome will happen. What we can do very easily is that reduce the industries, those who are working on it, giving license and minimize it, very control it. So
Okay,
this way we can.
I can just stop. All of you are running out of points. तुम लोग सब जितने हैं ना, everyone is just talking haywire. Your Satyendra, you started with there should be totally banned. All industries should be banned. This is what he said. What point did you give against it? Nothing. That is okay. You said it should be banned. Correct? Close all outlet and they have this. Your was totally banned. That close all liquor and industry itself. Why? You didn't give any point for that. Did you give any point?
So one point I've given that ban will not option because the
ban
neighboring
is not
state.
Ban is that is your what? Why do you want to ban? Why do you want to close all liquor outlet and liquor industry?
So because the efficiency after ban in the state will not be there.
Then what is it the efficiency? What effect will it have on economy? What effect will it have? It is industry by it is not the liquor is not only utilized for alcohol is not only utilized for human consumption. Alcohol is used for even industry. So many, including pharma industry and everything, so many industries are also involved into it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Then it's also a byproduct of what he had from kin industry, and what did you do with that? So you have not
I
given
think that
if you feel that he given a point at this, it is a totally useless point, which is not going to give you any credit. Absolute no point. You have not talked at all about it. Now let's come back to Akash. So Akash said, okay, what did Akash say? What do you say, Akash? Tell me.
So
Akash,
I said restrict, put some kind of restriction.
Did we have any word like restriction here? We have only three did. Either lift the ban. Number two, strict implementation. Third,
Yes, a strict implementation, sir.
So not strict. You're talked to the totally. You're confused. You're not taking the lead itself. And then you're talking about all the restrictions. Sometimes you're talking about restriction. Sometimes about यहाँ पर है income cap. Nice. Yes, you cannot afford to ban it. Very nice that you gave the point, because it is going to affect the economy. Very nice, because that is the main source. But that is the point. What is the point? Why? Even if you wanted a strict implementation, it says nothing wrong with the consumption of liquor. It's a practice all around. What we have to do, the people should not go off board. That's all. We can't afford to have a spurious. So it is the law which, if the law is made strict and if there is spurious liquor not available, there's nothing wrong with the system. That's how you should have gone about it.
Sir, I said that only, sir, and I added 2 points.
Point, क्या point दिया बताओ मेरे को बताओ.
Sir, I said firstly restrict per person consumption, and secondly increase the taxes on liquor.
First, how would you implement it for them? Would you set a quota for each person will take only one peg of liquor per head, or was it possible? No, so sir. 130 crores, 130 pegs are there. What are you talking about? कुछ तो बात करो यार, कुछ sensible बात करो ना, because बच्चों की तरह बात कर रहे हो ना. You people are mature people, and you can't afford to be talking like this. No? Is it possible? Just tell me.
No, sir.
So, 100, can you say, okay, 8 pegs per day, 140 crore, 140 pegs will be available. Very nice, great. Yeah, Lakshit, what did you talk about it? You said you did talk about, yes, strict implementation. How do you implement? Your influence should have been there. Gentlemen, your point should have, as I have just talked to Akash, there's nothing wrong with the liquor being consumed throughout the world. And it is not today. It is being done since the ages only. It is not today. Even in the earlier day, even Shastra has talked about it. So nothing wrong with it. What is there? People should not go overboard. It should not be, spurious material should not be in the market. It should have certain amount of restriction so that people don't behave unruly on the system in the garb of being drunk. They have to strict laws country. So this is how what the whole should have gone across. Lakshit.
Yes, sir.
तो तुम लोग इस तरह से बात करो तो कोई फायदा है? बताओ मेरे को.
No, sir.
So that's what is the depth. You understand? You have time between discussion and the topic is very small. It's hardly you got few seconds of time, isn't it? Your mind should start working there. How to give the point? Give the point and then wait for it. Then you think about it. Then pick up point from others. Are you all happy with this? What are the status that you have got it? Tell me.
No, sir.
अब क्या फायदा हुआ सत्येंद्र? कोई फायदा है क्या?
No, sir.
You have to train your mind. There's no way. Who can teach you that? It's the basics, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
He said you will, out of 3 leads, you pick up 1 lead. Irrespective of that, anyone goes against you. And remember, when I talked group discussion, knowledge and skill. First and foremost, knowledge is important. Without knowledge, you cannot afford to discuss a topic. Number 1. Number 2, you must have skill. Skill comes in analytical skill. It also has the word of communication. You must, so that's how the whole thing. Aim is again, is a 15 qualities. Your qualities have been checked. That 15 qualities should emerge. If you don't have depth, so effective intelligence or knowledge. If you can't give a point, effective intelligence is gone. If you are not logical and give the points sequentially one after another around there, then again reasoning ability is gone. If these two are gone, you cannot afford to do anything. You are not able to organize the thought process, organizing ability is gone. So what is left over then? If I say, if we want to become an officer, the first thing which is there, you must have factor 1. That reasoning ability, effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing. Without this, you cannot afford to think of passing. And second thing I said, out of the first 4 topics, now 4 G2 tasks, you must do well, exclusively well in at least 3, 2, so that you can make a dent. If you concentrate on other topics like command task and group together, what lecture, that's a separate issue. That is a confirmation test. Basically, you have gone, all of you have gone wrong. Okay. Right then.